Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button below. It would mean the world to me. Okay, today I'm taking it back to an oldie but a goodie with this wonderful floral from Concord and not Copic. I'm colouring it with Copics, that's what I mean. So yeah, just to reiterate, the stamp is from Concord and 9th and I'm colouring it with Copics. Stamped it with Gina Amalgam ink. Did that off camera though because you don't need to see that. And yeah, I'm colouring it with my Copics. I'm taking part in a hop this week. We've called it Back to Basics. It is from the Handmade Happiness Facebook group that Courtney Creeber set up and runs. It's awesome, just a little community of people who love creating. It's fun, and sometimes we do different hops, blog hops and video hops and all sorts, and today I'm taking part in this video hop. So the hop itself is pretty much what it says on the tin. Yeah, back to basics. So we are choosing minimal supplies, basic techniques, nothing too flashy, nothing trying to keep up with the latest trends and things like that. Just take it back to basics. So that's what I did. My basics are just colouring. I love colouring. That's what I just love, especially florals. I love colouring florals. I chose this stamp because this was one of the first really amazing stamps that I personally had ever seen. I was just sort of getting into the stamping community, not really on the very fringes of, but most of the stamps that I had were not the best quality. I'm not going to name names, but certain UK high street stores that I'd purchased stamps from, and it was so frustrating because I'd stamp them and half the image would be missing and I could not understand what was going on. And I bought a stamp press and I still got the same thing, and then I'd push it down really hard and then I might catch some of the bits that weren't stamping, but then the bits that had already stamped would be all squished out because I'd pressed too hard on the stamp. And that was my sort of experience with stamps. And I saw this on Instagram and a couple of videos on YouTube, and I just thought it was just the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I loved it. It blew me away. It blew me away, and I wanted it for so long, you guys. I didn't buy it at the time because, as I said, I was still buying cheap rubbish stamps, and I hadn't really splurged much money on other things, on more expensive things, better quality stamps, and yeah, this one just blew my mind, and I didn't get it for ages, and then I saw it on a de-stash sale one of my crafty friends was having, and I snapped it up. And when I got it, I honestly sat here just looking at the stamp like, it's mine. It's mine. Finally, it's mine. I love it, and I love it just as much as I thought I would. So I thought that it was the perfect stamp to use for this hop because we're going back to basics. So obviously, as I've said, just stamping and colouring no crazy techniques from me today, but also going back to the basics that, for me personally, that made me fall in love with card making and stamping and colouring, because yeah, this stamp opened up this whole new world, and new community as well, because it's a thing, like, I just haven't ever known a more accepting and welcoming community as I've found through doing this wonderful, spending my time making cards and just making beautiful things and loving it, and I've met so many wonderful, amazing people, and I just feel really welcome. So yeah, so this is it's a bit special for me, getting a bit emotional. But yeah, it's just, that's why I chose to do this, to go right back to the heart of why I am doing these things that I'm doing now. So yeah, with regards to the colouring, I just wanted to keep it really simple. I wanted lighter, like pastel shades, didn't really want anything too in your face, so I chose the colours accordingly. I didn't want to have sort of go too dark in the shadows, because I knew that would then lead to I'd go dark, and then sort of before you know it, the flower ends up a lot darker than you wanted it. So what I did was I just coloured everything in the lightest colour that I was going to use, and then let that dry completely, and then added another layer of that colour, but only in the shadows. So I was using the same colour to be the lightest and the mid-tone, and then just adding another, like on the bigger flowers and things, adding one more colour to be the shadow, but that just meant that then I didn't have to go quite as dark to get my shadows. I coloured the wonderful sentiment in, did it a little bit ombre, lighter at the bottom, no, other way around, Tash, lighter at the top, darker at the bottom. Quite like how that looks, and then I decided to heat emboss the other part of the sentiment, because I know I said that it was just stamping and Copic colouring, but that was not true actually, because I did emboss, but embossing as well, that's like, it's still magic, that's special to me. I love embossing. So I chose the Rose Glintz embossing powder from WOW. I double embossed it, because the first time I didn't actually do it right, and then it just wasn't showing up as much as I thought it was going to. I thought it was a perfect colour to match the colour that I'd done the wonderful in, but it just didn't work. So I grabbed a black outliner and just coloured all around it, so it was like a black, just as if I'd done like a scribbly little section and embossed on that, and I really like it, how it came out actually. Quite chuffed with how it looked. Could have been a disaster, but I thought, you know, I'm already invested, and I do not want to just give up. So that's what I did. Ended up, loved it. Then I just trimmed it down and popped it up on a card base, and that was it. That is my basic card. So I will have the link, the name of the person next in the hop, down below, along with my supplies and all my social media channels. thank you for spending this time with me today. If you are new here and you haven't already subscribed, then I'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button below. And even if you have subscribed, if you hit the notification bell, then you'll get notified every time that I bring out a new video. I have quite a few videos this week because it's like my birthday week, so I'm kicking out a few in celebration, and I'd love it if you could stick around and celebrate with me. Have a lovely, happy and safe week, people, and stay crafty. Bye.